What is up, good people? Jungle Inc. here, hope you're doing well. Unfortunately, the crypto industry is stuck in the middle of political hell as both sides are arguing over who should have authority over crypto. And today, we had another hearing, this one titled The Future of Digital Assets. We'll break it down. Eleonor Terrett leaked a memo leading up to that. I think it's very telling. We'll go through it. And generally, I would have no hope that anything would actually get done. Like, why would they give up their chance to have endless hearings and a big party on the U.S. taxpayers' dollar? Like, why give that up? But there might be enough leverage here with, the debt ceiling looming. Maybe they can punch something through here and come to some sort of agreement. But before we get into all that, we do have a little bit of news to cover. The first one, IRS claiming $44 billion from FTX bankruptcy. And this is such a crime. This is ridiculous. Imagine that you had $200,000 worth of Bitcoin sitting on FTX. The company goes under and some of your value is still there. And instead of them distributing that value to you, they took it and essentially paid off Sam Bankman-Fried's debts, his back taxes. Like, why should your money, your value, go to pay off his tax debt? They have to roll out some protection for customers. Now, if you are an investor in FTX, you should take a full loss. Your enterprise failed, that's fine, but the customer's funds should not be used to pay FTX taxes. Now, this next article, it brings up a really interesting point, and I think it's going to get a whole lot more interesting once we see the Coinbase lawsuit filed. We see John Deaton arguing digital assets can be sold as a security in the primary market, but not in the secondary, which is where you and I transact. Continuing with the article, the founder of crypto law argues that digital assets like XRP and Bitcoin are not securities by themselves, citing Howey. So the Orange Groves weren't securities, but the raising of funds, that action was a securities violation by Howey Company. And this makes a lot of sense. I mean, XRP, it's not equity in a company. It's not a debt position, a debt security. The thing being sold is a commodity, but the actions by Ripple possibly could, depending on how the judge rules, be a securities violation. Now, why will the SEC not confirm this? Well, I'll ask you this. If the thing being sold in the secondary market, if it is inherently not a security, then what authority do they have to mess with Coinbase, who's just selling pure commodities? Like, that's where they want to get to. They want to crack into those exchanges and monitor them and regulate them. But if they're not selling securities, they have no authority to do so. So it's going to be very interesting as we see moving forward what they put in that Coinbase complaint. We're going to see it here shortly, likely. Are they going to, as they've recently started, name some famous coins in that complaint, saying, you traded these and they are securities. We saw that recently. The biggest name was Algorand. They didn't sue Algorand, but they tossed that name into one of their other ancillary lawsuits. Are they going to do that in the Coinbase one, and who will get named? In a follow-up article here, Brad Garlinghouse is talking about by the end of this thing, Ripple will have spent probably somewhere in the neighborhood of $200 million on this court case, in court, arguing over nonsense. The SEC could just issue guidance, and guess what? They'll follow it. But no, we have to go through this ridiculous exercise, one which John Deaton said the SEC is stretching their authority here in a cosmically far-fetched manner. Now, the good news is the rest of the world's making a lot of progress here. We see G20 markets rolling out very sophisticated and clear regulation. The title of this article is U.S. Lawmakers Hold EU and UK as Example of Crypto Regulations and Joint Hearing. The U.S. doesn't have to be first. They don't have to be front runners here, but they can't be too far behind. They better get going here. We see European Union coming closer to passing markets and crypto asset framework. So again, you have to watch out because there is a lot of big business here. And it's not just these crypto companies. You'll see your Apples and your Googles and your Amazons start shifting business over into these markets as well. Eventually, just like we see with AI, this big tidal wave of activity, it's going to happen with cryptocurrencies as well. And a lot of business will eventually go overseas. These bigger markets, these sophisticated markets, big business hubs, it's very different than, El Salvador allowing Bitcoin as legal tender, things like this. They're going to be threatened by the EU and the UK and other massive markets out there that will pull a lot of your your business away, your capital formation away. Our capital markets are so dominating in size, but today ain't tomorrow. And if you're not careful, and some of this is going to happen anyway, a lot of that will go off to your Singapores and over to the EU and different areas. So today, Eleonor Terrett was talking about this congressional hearing they had today on digital assets, and she got a hold of a memo that was circulated to many of the key Democrats, and it basically told them to stick to supporting the SEC's total authority over crypto regulations, its assertion that nearly all cryptos constitute securities, and that crypto problem isn't ambiguity, but it's just mass non-compliance. Now, I have the memo here. We're going to go through it, but I think what it lets you see is not just the political side of things, but also the SEC and what they're trying to do here and what their viewpoint. They say the following: Republicans have decided to embark on a partisan pursuit of sweeping digital asset legislation that erects entirely new frameworks for crypto. Essentially, this isn't necessary. The SEC is already equipped to handle this asset class. The problem isn't ambiguity, as I said. It's a mass non-compliance with existing laws, and crypto companies can't be let off the hook. Now, this is the part that's interesting. The SEC believes that nearly all cryptocurrencies are securities. End of story. And I'll tell you this, I don't really care about the political struggle, who wins or loses. I don't even care how you classify cryptocurrencies. But you have to have clear frameworks so people can use crypto as the tools they are. So if you want to say when Ripple sells XRP, that's a security and they need to report different information, I could care less. It can't be labeled as a security on the secondary market because then you lose all of its functionality and you will be behind every other sensible region that's rolling out frameworks. So again, I don't really care about the specifics. Figure it out, get it done. But you have to be able to build real businesses for real customers in a compliant manner where everyone is under the same rules and frameworks and on an even playing field. It's not okay to request something of Cardano and not the Ethereum Foundation, or something of Ripple but not Polkadot. Like, the rules need uniform application, and before you can get that, we can't trust the SEC. It's got to be in writing. We need to clear this up, and this space will really do well, because then your good actors will come to the forefront. We'll likely have a lot more reporting we can dig through and get reliable information on, and you will see this space go to another stratosphere. Let's just hope it happens sooner than later. This space needs a big win. Hopefully we get it. Hopefully they can push through some sort of agreed upon frameworks, but it's going to happen sooner than later. It's just a matter of time. Those G20 countries are going to push the U.S. There's a bunch of political hearings and fightings because it's imminent, and each side wants their little piece of the pie here. It's all a bunch of nothing. It's going to happen. Let me know what you think down below. And as always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.